Well, 17 hours and counting of extreme winds hitting portions of Anchorage and the Mat-Su. This is video from downtown this morning showing the blowing snow and dangerous conditions that are not over yet. Good evening. An historic wind event slamming Anchorage with the Mat-Su seeing even stronger gusts of wind, some of those actually reaching hurricane force. The wind continued to whip across Anchorage with strong gusts leaving snow stinging your face, lots of snow drifts piled up, even broken windows around town. Snow plows were out clearing snow as drifts continued to form.
It's Alaska, but I'm so skinny it almost fell me off my boots.
Well, this video shows some of the extremely dangerous conditions on the Glen Highway earlier today. Snow drifts up to SUV bumpers, trapping vehicles as only one lane is just partially visible. Emergency vehicles are seen responding to numerous stuck trucks as some drivers are actually able to pass by and then continue into Anchorage. Now, DOT posted on its social media pages, this one from Facebook, saying due to high winds, it's deployed extra resources to help with the drifts. The department said earlier today that drivers should expect periodic closures on the Glen Highway as troopers look to help drivers. Wasilla Police also saying in the last hour or so that the Parks Highway is closed between the Palmer-Wasilla Highway and Cruzy in Wasilla. That's near Wasilla Lake. Now, the group says you should avoid the area as there are very large drifts and multiple vehicles are already stuck. Police say they don't know when the road will be reopened again. Now, people in the Mat-Su were also urged to stay off the roads in general today, maybe even stay indoors if you could. Lauren Maxwell was in the valley to tell us and show us why.
Conditions in the valley today were extreme. Whiteout on the roads, and in some cases it was hard just to stand up. That's not a surprise considering this. Wind gusts that reached up to 80 miles an hour. The blowing winds made for blowing snow, making it nearly impossible to see. Even longtime residents found the extreme conditions hard to take.
The weather in general, the weather today in general is really challenging.
Troopers reported multiple vehicles in distress and warned people to stay off the roads. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Melissa, I'm looking at that video just cringing because it looks not only terrifying and dangerous, but just something you absolutely want to stay away from if possible. Lauren was out there actually earlier today when some of those hardest winds were starting up, not actually in the middle of it. But Are any of these individuals up there, those families, are they going to see any relief anytime soon?
We will, and that's sort of the saving grace with this particular wind event. We did have a similar scale event back in January, although these winds have been even higher in some locations. But the difference then, that lasted 3 days. This is only going to last for about another 12 hours, and then we'll see improving conditions. But look at these peak wind gusts, 83 miles per hour, right on the Glen Highway heading into Palmer. Palmer Airport up to 77, the Wasilla Airport up to 73 miles per hour. East side of Wasilla also seeing those extreme winds. Anchorage International Airport, 68 miles per hour. That is the highest wind that we have recorded here in Anchorage in nearly 20 years. This is also the third strongest wind event that we have ever recorded in Anchorage. So extreme conditions, and we're also seeing strong winds down onto the Kenai Peninsula and across Prince William Sound, high winds in Valdez. That blizzard warning for the valley because of that blowing snow is still in effect here through this evening into about 8 o'clock. We will see conditions start to improve overnight tonight, but look at this as we head into 1, 3, 5 in the morning, still seeing winds over 50 miles per hour. They really don't taper off until we get into midday, then much improved conditions by tomorrow evening. So if you do have to travel and get out and about again 24 hours from now, it will look much better. Beth?
That is some good news that you shared there. Thank you, Melissa. And Matanuska Electric Association is reporting thousands of its customers as being out of power today, around 7,000 at one point. You can see most of the outages are centered in the Wasilla, Palmer, and Big Lake areas. They do, however, go as far north as Talkeetna and as far south as Eagle River. Chugach Electric here in Anchorage says 17 of its customers are out of power.
Essentially today, when the winds were kicking up around Anchorage, we had multiple power outages triggered by trees on lines down. In one situation, somebody hit a pole. So we had crews out repairing the outages, and luckily at the most it was about 3,300 folks out. And as the day's gone on and the wind has died down, we're having fewer and fewer outages.
Now, those numbers change as time goes on, so you can check the maps for details if you want more of them. But Chugach Electric says, as a reminder, you should never approach downed power lines, and you should call 911 immediately if you see a fire. And the weather situation is so bad in Anchorage that the municipality says it's letting its department directors allow all non-essential employees to go home early. This was to happen around 2 o'clock this afternoon. The MOA says this is an effort to allow employees to commute at least during daylight hours. It also says employees were not charged any leave for that time off.